Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing fantastic because my last video that I uploaded on Dreamcast Guy is doing ridiculously well. So really quickly, I just want to thank you all for the insane support on that video. And I just want to say right now, this might actually be my last video until like Monday. I'm heading down to see some family for the weekend. So unless I'm able to like grind out another video today or something, then this will be the last one that you see from me until like Monday or Tuesday. Fear not though, because even after this video, we've got a bunch more salt to cover. We actually have a round 2 of the amazing Lucas Salt coming up because he actually made a video to my surprise on Starfield. But whatever, you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here for some Harman Smith salt. But what's extra special about this is that unlike the other videos we've taken a look at or live stream clips or whatever, Harman Smith, by his own admission, has not watched the Xbox Showcase or the Starfield Direct. You know, I gave Dreamcast Guy crap for rage quitting his live stream and not even finishing the Starfield Direct, but at least he watched some of it. Harman couldn't even be bothered to watch any of it. But yeah, enough of me rambling. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this.
I'm not gonna bother watching the Starfield trailer. I don't care. I've seen enough. You know, I've seen the pattern. I know how this goes every single time. Oh, is Starfield gonna be Game of the Year? Is this gonna be Bethesda's next Skyrim? Is this Fallout in space? Is this what No Man's Sky was going to be? Like, I called it from the trailer, right? Like, when they first showed off the gameplay trailer, like, I called this shit, like, immediately. It looked like garbage. It looked unoriginal. It didn't have anything going for it. And my opinion is unchanged. Of course, I'm not going to, like, watch the news footage because, you know, that's probably cherry-picked.
Man, imagine being this ignorant. You see some gameplay footage of a game, you're like, okay, it doesn't really interest me. But then later on, when we're closer to the game's release, they do an in-depth look and show a ton more gameplay. And then you just refuse to watch it to see how it got better. I mean, we all know why you're doing this, Harman. It's because you don't want to admit that the game looks a lot better. I mean, hell, even if you watched the gameplay, you would not admit it. But wow, you mean to tell me that gameplay they're showing in marketing was cherry-picked? Who would have guessed? It's almost like that's how marketing works. You choose the best gameplay footage to show off. But God, I just cannot get over that. He's refusing to watch the new footage because it's, quote, probably cherry-picked. But with regards to, is this going to be Game of the Year? No, it's going to be Zelda 100%. Even if you personally think that Starfield is going to be the best game of this year, and even if you enjoy Starfield the most out of all the games this year, like, you can't deny it. Zelda is going to win Game of the Year, and there's really nothing anybody can do about it. And I'm not even a big fan of Zelda or anything. That's just the truth. But Harman, in all seriousness, I'm not even joking, dude. You should actually watch the new gameplay. It's actually really good, and I think you'll be way more impressed with it than you were the original. What am I saying? It's not made by Nintendo, and it's not on the Switch, so he's not going to be impressed at all.
You know, I've heard a lot of, like, things about it that are already, like, raising red flags. Like, the term procedurally generated. You know, after No Man's Sky, that should be like a major red flag. Like, why isn't everything handcrafted? Why are we going to different planets and having them procedurally generated? Right? Where are the unique life forms? Where's the creativity? Where's the alien civilizations? Where's the plot? How is this going to work? You know, like, it just feels as if nothing they do here is really going to be, like, resonate with players at all. It's just going to be another No Man's Sky. And,
Okay, first of all, the procedural generation of No Man's Sky was not the issue, at least as far as I know. It was the fact that it released completely buggy, broken, unfinished. The ending of the story was crap. There were so many missing features that were promised that had to get patched in later. Procedural generation was the least of No Man's Sky's issues. But also, the reason it's procedurally generated, there's two big reasons. One, because there's over 1,000 planets, and you can't realistically expect them to handcraft every single one of the 1,000 planets. This game would just never come out if that was the case. But another reason is so that way the game isn't super repetitive and each player has a different story to tell on each planet. Because of the procedural generation, if I visit the exact same planet as one of my friends, chances are there might be different life forms or different terrain or something. But on top of that, it's not 100% procedurally generated. It's procedurally generated, but then it has handcrafted things thrown in in there. You know, it's not completely random. They do handcraft stuff, and then the game will generate that stuff alongside the randomness. But God, dude, I don't even know why you're asking these questions. Like, go watch the direct. It's only 45 minutes, and it's really interesting. If you did, you would understand why there's no alien civilizations. It's because that's one of the main things we're searching for. Humanity has still not found other intelligent life yet. And there are unique and interesting creatures. They showed them off in the gameplay. But again, you have to actually watch the gameplay to see that. Like, look, I've obviously made videos before talking about like franchises or games or whatever that I didn't know much about. Like, for example, Street Fighter or Resident Evil 4. But at least I bothered to do some amount of research on those games, so I kind of knew what I was talking about. Harman can't even be bothered to do research on the thing he's trashing.
The way it's looking now, it has the same kind of like hype cycle, right? It has the same kind of publicity. Is that like, oh man, it's gonna be so cool, like being in your spaceship and flying around this big universe with like, you know, infinite planets. You know, like they didn't just make a game, they made an entire universe. Like Todd Howard is God Howard. They're calling him now. It's a complete joke, and I have to wonder just how many people are buying into this, because I think Starfield has some of the lowest like enthusiasm for any major AAA release in some time. I think probably because of the Microsoft acquisition.
Okay, now this is getting ridiculous. You don't have to watch the direct to know that people are incredibly hyped about this game. I'm pretty sure that within like an hour of the direct finishing, the collector's edition for this game had already sold out and the page had crashed. On top of that, there's countless videos on YouTube already talking about how awesome Starfield looks and how excited people are for it. And on top of that, the same day as the Starfield direct, Starfield became the #1 game on Steam. It became the top seller the very same day, going against games like Street Fighter 6. In fact, even now, a few days later, the game is still in the top sellers. It's not #1 anymore, obviously, but it's still up there. But yeah, Starfield has absolutely no hype, am I right? And the Microsoft acquisition of Bethesda absolutely ruined any hype that could have happened. God, this guy's channel is the embodiment of ignorance.
If you're not aware, like Sony controls the gaming media, not Xbox. So if you see like a game getting pushed, it's typically multi-plat or a PlayStation exclusive, right? Like that's typically what happens. You know, Xbox hasn't really had an exclusive win game of the year, I think, ever. I'll have to look. It's usually a multi-plat or usually a PlayStation exclusive or a Zelda game. And I just don't think that Starfield, you know, No Man's Sky 2 is really going to hash it against Tears of the Kingdom. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is part of an established brand. It's iconic. It's already high quality. It has hundreds of hours of content. Like, what exactly is Starfield going to do that Tears of the Kingdom doesn't do better?
Well, like I said earlier, he's absolutely right. Tears of the Kingdom is going to win Game of the Year. It's not even a question. Spider-Man 2, Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, all of these other great games do not have a chance. But what is Starfield gonna do that Zelda doesn't do better? From the looks of it, unique creatures, RPG mechanics, weapon variety, customization, graphics, world building, world exploration, NPC interactions. You know, if I'm wrong on any of those, please correct me in the comments. Although I will say he's definitely not wrong about Xbox games and being Game of the Year. And to an extent, he's not really wrong about Sony and the media. But that's to an extent. But I think you could argue that Nintendo has a stronger influence on the media than Sony does. One of the big reasons is because Tears of the Kingdom is going to win Game of the Year this year, like unquestionably, because it is Tears of the Kingdom. But the whole media bias conversation is a conversation for another time.
The only thing I can think of is that it's technically a new IP. And that's something that like these people kind of have a big boner for, is just like, oh, it's a new IP, so let's give it the praise and attention it deserves, right? You know, and I don't know how much I disagree with the notion, because yeah, I do kind of dislike the idea that we see the same kind of games win Game of the Year every year. You know, Breath of the Wild already won once. Do we need like Tears of the Kingdom, you know, the sequel, to like win Game of the Year again to let us all know that the game is good? Like, I would rather like let another game take the spotlight, like hypothetically, like Pikmin 4, right? Like that's something, I don't know.
Of course, of freaking course. He's like, oh yeah, I don't want Tears of the Kingdom to win. You know, I want some more variety. Another game should win. And when I was watching this video for the first time, I was like, oh yes. Okay, is Harman actually going to be based? And then he's like, oh yeah, another game like Pikmin 4 should win. I'm like, of course, another Nintendo game should win. It's not that another game in general should win. It's another Nintendo game should win. My God, I can't believe I actually got my hopes up that he was going to say something based. But no, people are not excited for Starfield simply because it is a new IP. If you saw last year, people were pretty concerned, especially because the gameplay last year, while it wasn't terrible, was definitely underwhelming. People are excited now because they've been shown everything that the game has to offer, and it looks absolutely incredible. New IP does not automatically mean insane excitement and hype.
Like, there are things to talk about when it comes to this situation, right? Like, I don't think Starfield is it, though. Like, that's the thing, is that, like, Starfield hasn't shown anything off that I would be excited by. You know, I could buy it, like, pre-order it on my high-end gaming PC and, like, you know, play it immediately. I'm not going to. Just like I didn't play Street Fighter 6, just like I didn't play, like, The Last of Us Part 1, or Hi-Fi Rush, or Forspoken, or anything else that's come out in the past couple of years. Like, why exactly am I expected to, like, be excited for, like, everything that comes out?
Nobody is expecting you to be hyped for everything that comes out. What people expect is for you to not hate on everything and be such a fanboy. But how do you know Starfield hasn't shown anything interesting off if you haven't watched the trailers and the direct? And I love every console fan, well, not every console fanboy, but a ton of console fanboys who have no argument will use this tactic, where they say, oh yeah, I have a very high-end gaming PC. I could get this game. I'm just not interested. First of all, Harman, earlier you admitted you haven't watched the new gameplay yet, so how do you know if you're interested or not? And second of all, you keep saying, oh, I have a high-end gaming PC. Would you mind telling us the specs and how much it costs, maybe? Because you've talked about your high-end gaming PC before, but you've never shown it off, and you've never given any tech specs. So I have to doubt that you have a high-end gaming PC. But hey, if you're willing to show it off, then I will happily believe you.
Right? That is something I've been thinking about lately, is that, like, I just don't have any enthusiasm for playing this kind of stuff. Like, I would rather go back and play Splatoon 3 some more. I'd rather go back and play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I'd rather go back and play more Tears of the Kingdom. I'd rather just, you know, hang in there, you know, play Phoenix Wright again, play some Game Boy Advance classics. You know, gotta finish Superstar Saga, gotta finish Minish Cap, gotta play Twilight Princess again, gotta play, like, Tropical Freeze, gotta play, like, this, that, like, dozens of better games than Starfield. When would I ever have the time to play Bethesda's next big flop? You know, after Fallout 4, after 76, after, like, everything they've done, like, why would anybody be excited for Todd's next big game?
Because they had an entire 45-minute show dedicated to showing the game off, and they delayed it, meaning they're taking the time they need to get it right. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still obviously the chance that it's buggy on launch. I mean, it is a Bethesda game, and as we've seen with games like Cyberpunk, delays don't always fix everything. But I love how he's like, oh yeah, why would I want to play this game? I have so many other games to play, and then, like, every single game he mentions is a Nintendo exclusive. I think that should tell you all you need to know. But hey, I'm not knocking you, man. If you want to go back and play some older Nintendo games, then absolutely go for it. I'm not forcing you to be excited for Starfield, but I am going to criticize you if you try to complain about it without even watching the gameplay. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Basically, what we learned today is Harman has a very high-end gaming PC, and he's just not excited for Starfield, even though he refuses to watch the newest direct about it to learn new information, and then complains that there's nothing unique or interesting about the game. But then again, at this point, I should just expect this from him. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.